Okay, everyone, this is Gilmer, and this is episode 2 of my Let's Play War in the West. It is a game by Gary Grigsby, and we're playing the Allies, and we're still really on the first turn, and that is because there are a lot of things to do to set up the game before we're actually going to get into the game. And the first thing is the air war is the first part you will ever see in a campaign game like this, or this campaign game anyway, because this game is in two parts, the air war and the ground war, and the air war always goes first on the turn. And if you are manually doing or manually processing the air war, you will have to do a lot of this as well, and hopefully you'll get some kind of knowledge out of this. As I mentioned in my first video, we're going to be moving around a lot of air groups. We want all the four engine bombers. That's the B-24, the B-17, the Lancasters, the Sterlings, there's another one, the Halifax, I think. We want those in England. We want the long-range fighters in England. We want the night fighters in England. We want the two engine bombers in North Africa to start the war when we're attacking Sicily and then Italy. And so I need to start doing that right now. Strategic Air Force, as you can see, has the B-24 Liberator. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to actually go to Benghazi and click on it. As you can see, we have two air groups, B-24D Liberator. So we're going to click select all, and then we are going to transfer them. And how you do that is you select them, and then you go, and we're going to use the jump map down here. I hope you can see my cursor. This time I made absolute sure I had checked the cursor button or selection on the settings. So if you can see my cursor, I'm down here in the jump box, and I'm going to click on England, and then we are going to decide where we're going to put these, because look at all these airfields. There are just so many. This one looks pretty good. AF New Thampstead or Nuthampstead, I'm not sure. And you right click it. It says two air units have been transferred. If you click on it, you can see that the airfield is now green. It was red. That was because the airfield was empty before. Now it has two air groups on it, the B-24 Liberators. As you can see, their TOE is not very good. The airfields are in good shape, but the TOE, the people that support it, are not. So we're going to actually click on New Thampstead and click on it here, and you can see TOE 0 of 0, max TOE auto. We're going to click that to 100, and hopefully by next turn they will be ready to go. And so we're going to keep doing things like that throughout this video. And as you can see, it still says Strategic Air Force. We don't want that. We want them in the 8th Air Force. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click it again, click that, and then where it says HHQ, we're going to click on that, left click on it, and then we're going to choose, was it the 8th Air Force or the 9th Air Force? Oh shit, I'm not completely sure. Pretty sure it's the 8th Air Force. And we can actually check that at some level. On some level we can check that. Let's see. I'm not sure where I'm going to find out where the 8th Air Force is, but I'm almost positive the 8th Air Force is up here. Let's just take a look at some other base and see what they are, who they are attached to. Yes, 8th Air Force. So the bomber, the strategic bombers, the U.S. strategic bombers in England are attached to the 8th Air Force. So why does it still say Okay. I don't know why it says it's still under. Maybe it just has to go a turn for it to not be listed under Strategic Air Force anymore. I don't know that. I am kind of assuming that, which I hope that means I'm not being an idiot in assuming that, but let's crack on, shall we? This is the 2nd USSFA level bomber group with B-24 Liberators. No, wait a minute. B-17. So we'll just go to Constantine, select all, and then we're going to go to England. And I really probably should have figured out where I was going to put this, because most of the tips I get are put all your B-17s together, put all your B-24s together, and don't mix them up. Just keeps it clean, keeps everything nice and tidy. But I don't know which ones are which, to be honest. Actually, I could actually look at a few. If we look at Coastal Air Force, RAF, second RAF Tactical, 8th U.S. Air Base. So at Alconbury, which is this, that is a B-17, bunch of B-17 groups. So we're going to transfer one air unit transferred, and now that air group is at the 8th Air Force. Now how do I get back to the other one? Not exactly positive, but we'll do it this way. And that is annoying. For some reason, every now and then, if you click more than once in a row kind of quickly, it'll kind of freeze or glitch, and you'll hear a bunch of mouse clicks. That's very freaking annoying, but I'll try to make sure that I don't do that. Navarin, select all, and then we will choose a base under the 8th Air Force, 2nd RAF, the 8th Air Force. Didn't I already just transfer? Well, I thought there was. Oh, I think it's still listed under the strategic. Oh, wait a minute. Or was it Aldermaston? No, it was Alconbury. I know it was Alconbury. Let's go to Bassingbourn. They are at 35% of their base capacity, and we're probably going to transfer out the P-47Ds. Those are our fighters, but they have a very short range. Well, yeah, fighter bomber fighter. They're trained as a fighter. They have a very short range, so we will probably transfer them out, but we will transfer some B-17s in. 3 air units. Now let's see. That's Bassingbourn, and they're only at 75%, so that's pretty good. That actually is pretty good. Their capacity is really good. Next, we've transferred that, the New Hampstead. We have P-38s. We really need to transfer them as well, because they are long-range fighters. They're trained as fighters, but they're fighter bombers. But we want them because they will be escorting our 4-engine bombers into Germany, and with their long range, they can go a lot further than, say, a P-47. So let's go to Souk El Arba. There we go. And we are going to click on the P-38. The B-25 is a tactical bomber. We're going to leave it here. We're going to take all our tactical bombers, all our 2-engine bombers, which that's what a B-25 is, and we're going to leave them in North Africa or transfer them to North Africa if they're in England. So we want to put the P-38 in England. We want them to actually be very close to Germany or France, the continent. So we want our fighters, because they still, even if they're long range fighters, they still have a lesser range than the strategic bombers. So we want them as close to France or the main continent as possible, so that they can go further when they're doing their escort mission. So we're going to find a place to put them. P-38s have pretty long range, I know that, but I still want to get them as close as possible. And I know this is probably a British air base, but we're going to transfer him there, and then we're just going to take a look at it. So they're attached to the RAF Bomber Command. I don't know if I need to, if it's wrong to mix fighters. I'm going to try not to, but you never know. It looks like they have enough to run this air base with 2 fighter groups coming out of it, but that being in red kind of makes me think that it's not ideal. So let's 40 of 40. We're gonna, and when you get a screen like this, it says 1 to 100 or -1 for auto. All you have to do is just type in the number that you want. 100%. Click on yes, click check mark, and then that's it for now. As you can see, looking at Malta Air Command, they have some night fighters. We want to move them. So night fighter, Mosquito night fighter. Let's see. That's really all of them. So we're going to move them up here as well. We're going to put them there. And, I'm probably going to do some of this offline, because even when I get them all of the 4-engine bombers in England, and all of the night fighters, and all of the night bombers, and all of the whatevers, the long-range fighters in England, I'm still going to need to move them around a lot. So I might do that offline, because I know this is going to get tedious. It's already tedious to me, and I'm actually playing the game, so I'm not going to get this done in 30 minutes either. So what are you going to do? Because I also need to go through every single air unit and put them on auto upgrade, and that's going to take forever as well. But you kind of have to do these things. Once you get these all done, then the turns go a lot quicker, and you don't have to do all the moving around. Now, as your front moves up, you're going to have to move the air groups closer to the front, so that they can bomb further things beyond the battle lines. So either way, you're going to have to do this some way or the other. You could have the AI manage everything, as I've mentioned in my first video, but it's not going to be anywhere near as efficient or effective as if you do it yourself and you do it the right way. I'm not saying I'll do it completely the right way, but I think even with me making mistakes and doing it manually, I'll still be able to do better than what the AI would do with the Air War. So that's why I'm doing this. I want to get as much out of this game as I can. So as you see, Victoria has the P-40N Warhawk. That is a night fighter. We want it as well. So P-40N. Are there any P-40Ns? Any other P-40Ns? I don't see any. I wonder if I think I need to move a lot of these Spitfires to England as well, though, because I think they are long-range fighters. So let's move some of them anyway. Some of them are bombers, though. But some of them are fighters. I'm going to the VB. I don't necessarily know what that is, actually. I think it's some kind of bomber. I don't know. Vertical bomber, maybe? I don't know. Vertical, I don't know what VC means then. Spitfire. Let's transfer a lot of these, and we're going to overload any base that we get these guys on, but because we have 8 air units transferred. Actually, it's only at, let's see. Yeah, it's only on 57%. Partly that is due to the fact that the fighters, I think, aren't as manpower as intensive as bombers are. And if you just think about that logically, you can see why. The bombers have to have all sorts of bombs put on, and maybe drop tanks and things like that, which fighters have to put on drop tanks as well, but they're a lot smaller drop tanks. Their ammunition is not as heavy as what the bombers have to do, so it takes a lot more. The bombers have a lot more people on it, so you have to get all sorts of things on it. You got to get the actual loads for the bombs. You have to get ammunition for the guys that are manning the machine guns for B-17s and B-24s. They have turrets that are manned at all times by people, so there's a lot more intensity, a lot more intensive work, a lot more manpower needed to upkeep the bombers. That's why I think it's easier to put a bunch of fighters on one air base as opposed to 8 strategic bombers on one base. If you put 8 B-17 air groups on one base, it'll be completely overloaded. 2, well, that's 15%, but as you can see, if you put 8 of these on here, it would be, what is that, 120%? So that's a big air base, but it would still be overloaded if you put 8 B-24s on it. This has 3, and it's at 50%. If you put 8, it would be what, 125 or so. So that's why it's easier to put fighters on one base. A lot more fighters on one base than you would bombers. So okay, as we're going along, Strategic Air Force. These are all transferred, and I think once, because you can't use them on the turn you move them, because they're considered as having flown. So that's why they probably still kind of list themselves under strategic Air Force. And then next turn they'll probably show up under whatever bases these are attached to, which I think most of them are the 8th Air Force. So let's take a look at the Wellington. It is a 2-engine bomber, so we're gonna. Oh, I just transferred those, didn't I? Limpney? Where's Limpney? Yeah, I just transferred those. And there's one right here, a Spitfire. I don't think we're going to transfer every single long-range fighter plane to England, because then who would protect the bombers in North Africa? So Ashford, Victoria. That's a pretty good amount, but Ashford is okay. That's Ashford right there. So I've transferred all these to Ashford, Victoria, Pantelleria, and they have one night fighter group. Damn it. There you go. And I'm going to transfer them to England as well. And I'm going to transfer them to one of these. One air unit transferred. And there you see it. I think that was it. I didn't look at the numbered designation of their air group, so that's probably them, but I don't know it for a fact. Causeway LG has a night fighter, the 79th. We're going to move it up. Let's move it there. And I wouldn't get too alarmed if you have a bunch of, if your TOE is too low on one turn, especially if you've transferred units in, because like I said, they're not going to be ready to be used until the next turn anyway, so you're not going to have to worry about that. And then hopefully if you put the TOE up to 100%, then everybody, people will be transferred in. So let's go to Calibia. Some of these names I'm just having all sorts of trouble with, but I'm not too worried about it. So let's take a look here. This is Limpney again. We've transferred other. See how some of these are in the Malta Air Command. We've transferred them recently. So let's go back. Strategic Air Force, B-25. We've looked. Yeah, okay. I was thinking, every time I see this, I go, B-17. Oh, okay. They're at Alconbury. They're in England. But you kind of have to take a look. Okay, now the Halifax is a 4-engine bomber. It is in. Where did they go? And then one kind of little glitch or hitch or hiccup that I don't like is when you click on something like. Let's look at that again. Halifax. I'm going to look at the Halifax at Graeba. And then when I X out of it, where's Graeba? You have to go back down to it again. So that's a little annoying, but if that's the worst thing I have to worry about, then I'm in good shape. So I'm going to transfer these two Halifaxes to England as well because they are 4-engine bombers. And I don't know what their range is, but we can look at it. So their radius is 681 miles. That's pretty far, but it's not that far. I think the B-24 is over 1,000. I think we looked at that last episode. We looked at the B-24s. So let's see. New Hampstead, Sukakorea, El Harbor. Sorry. Beja has B-26. That's a 2-engine tactical bomber. Bizerte has a B-25. That's a 2-engine tactical bomber. The Wellington, I think, is a 2-engine. Yes. 2-engine bomber. So let's go back. We've looked at Bizerte, Hanny, B-26. Mater has P-40 and 2 P-38s. I want to move them as well. So let's see. And let's go back to England and try to decide which one would be best. Let's try this one. Wow. They're at 110%. So I'm going to have to transfer at least one of these out. And let's see. Mustang, Spitfire. You're probably going to have to double up on some of these and put them in places you don't necessarily want to put them. And, I mean, you're going to have a mix of Mustangs and Spitfires. You're probably not going to be able to avoid that too awful much. We're at 101%. So let's just look at this. Okay, so he's at 69. He's at 75. He's at 57. So all these are in good shape. 72, 24%. Next, we're going to go back. This F5A Lightning and F6A. I think I'm going to transfer them as well because they're recon. And the initial part of the game, you're going to do most of your strategic bombing out of England. And reconnaissance is very, very important. You really need to make sure that you recon everything that you're bombing, because it makes your bomb runs that much more efficient. So I'm going to pull a lot of the recons out as well. So where's that? That is the Strategic Air Force. And this is the Tactical Air Force. So they still have... No, I transferred a lot of them out as well. Okay. Ashford, Lympney. Okay, so this Tactical Air Force is actually... Well, I was going to say based in... Well, that says Britain. But that's where they are. That's in the Mediterranean. But I don't really see anybody. Gubrini? Let's see what they've got. They have one recon flight. I don't know why I called it reconner. Hurricane C. It's a fighter bomber. Let's take a look at that. It's trained as a bomber. It's a one-engine bomber. It's really a tactical bomber. Let's go to the next one. Hergala, B-25s and B-26s. It's in Tunisia. That's really right in this area. We're going to leave them there. La Marza, that's in Tunisia as well. The Boston 3s and the Baltimore 3s are two-engine bombers. Did I look at Massacot? Yeah, I think I did. Well, I didn't necessarily look directly at it, but it didn't have anything I wanted to move. So I looked at the Bostons. The Baltimore is also a two-engine, so we're okay there. Let's keep going. We just looked at La Marsa's. I know A-20 is a two-engine bomber, so I'm leaving it. And that's Recon F9 Fortress. What does that look like? That's a weird-looking airplane. It's a four-engine airplane, but it's for recon. It's not a bomber, but I think I still want to move it. So where was that? La Marsa? Yeah. So there they are. Now I'm going to move this recon to England. And let me just say, if I make a mistake and call Great Britain England or the British Empire, or I'm not doing that to insult you. I'm saying England because this is the island of England. I know that it was the Commonwealth or Great Britain or the Commonwealth forces, I think, includes Canada and Australia and all the other places, I think, that were mostly autonomous by this time, but they were still considered part of the greater Commonwealth. And that is, I don't know the exact relationship that implies, but I'm not trying to insult anybody if I get that wrong. So if I get it wrong, tell me in the comments and I'll correct myself, because this is a learning process. Not everybody gets everything right, and I'm kind of a interested in British history and English history, and so I kind of keep an eye on that. I'm not completely, I'm sure, versed in all the terminology of the British Empire and the Commonwealth and all that, but I think I'm pretty close on most of it. Obviously, the island of England is this island right here. The Commonwealth, the British Empire, obviously included India and places like that as well. So, anyway, crack on, as they say in England. I got that from Sherlock Holmes. Crack on. I mean, I know that more than just Sherlock Holmes says it. And yes, I know that Robert Downey Jr. is an American, and he played Sherlock Holmes. And Jude Law, I think, is an American as well. I could be wrong on that. But anyway, it's a good movie. They're good movies. I like them. So, I digress. We have the P-39 Air Cobras. Radius 291. That is a short-range bomber. Fighter. or bomber. I don't know. Whatever they are, I'm leaving them in North Africa. A-36s, Kitty Hawk, Hurricane D. The Kitty Hawk, the Spitfire. What is it? What the hell are these lines? Jesus. Holy shit. What did I click? That must be the flight radiuses. Holy shit. How do I get that off? Okay. That's hilarious. Yeah, there's some things I don't know. And I'll have to research that to get that turned off because honestly that's a little annoying, to be honest. But if that's their air radius, they're not flying very far past. Oh, that must be all the Spitfires. So let's click on the Spitfires again. Yeah, there we go. That must be where that's what it is. It was showing me the radius or the length or the furthest out all Spitfires could fly, and since they're all in different bases, it had different radiuses for or radii or whatever you would say for each one of them. So that's what that was for. Interesting. I did not realize that until I just did that. Coastal Air Force, Tripoli, Hurricane C, fighter, bomber, fighter. Trained as a fighter. Oops. I did it again, didn't I? Their radius is 372. I don't know. I don't know if that's considered long range or not. But we're getting there, folks. We are getting there. I'm already in the Coastal Air Force, which is the coast of Northern Africa. Mostly two-engine bomber. There's a PBBY Liberator. Damn, is everything called a Liberator? What the hell? That's going to be a little confusing. But it looks like all of their... There's going to be a little bit more. I need to... troop carrier. That I need to get all these up to Tunisia, which is here. So... let's see... That's okay. Caravan. I don't know if I want to move these because this is where my my paratroopers are based. Are right here. You can't see them right now because it's not the ground version of the war yet, but they're based in this area. Troop transports. Thruxton. I want to transfer them to North Africa as well because I'm not going to be transferring troops anywhere up in England until the D-Day invasion, so they're going to be more important to me down here. Massacalt. Is that's there? Okay. RAF Fighter Command. We got the Bow Fighters, the Spitfires, Mustang. It's a recon unit. Okay. I mean, I guess the Spitfires and the Hurricanes and the Mustangs and maybe even the Typhoon. Well, that's a fighter bomber. But I guess they're okay there. I might have to change them around. I'll research a little bit on that. Then we have the RAF Bomber Command. Now the Sterlings. Let's go back. RAF Bomber Command. Where are you? You're just below Fighter Command. I'm gonna do a lot more offline. There's so much to do. It's very what am I doing here? See, I gotta go all the way back down. That's a little annoying. It doesn't remember where I was. Let's go to Binbrook. Okay, so the Sterlings. Okay, let's go to actually where the Sterlings are. The Sterlings are they kind of have a short range, and also they have a different max altitude than just about every other of the four-engine bombers. So we have to put the Sterlings all together, and we have to put them as close as possible to Germany, and we have to fly them at 19,000. We can't get them above 19,000, or they just won't fly. I think that's what'll happen is they just will not. They might you might give them an order to fly, and I think they just won't fly, or they might be grayed out and they won't allow you to do an air directive where they're flying above 19,000. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to put all Sterlings together, and we're going to put them down in this area somewhere. And then the Lancasters and the others, that's the, I haven't heard a lot of comparisons between the B-17s and the B-24s and the Lancasters, the British four-engine bombers, but I think one of the main advantages of the British four-engine bombers is that they can do night bombing. The main advantage of the B-17s and B-24s is their range or radius is much, much better than the British bombers. And I mean, there might be some specifics that aren't necessarily true or a little bit off on what I just said, but it seems like everybody that talks about this game and they're talking about bombing Germany, the B-17s and B-24s go a lot further into Germany and bomb something, and then the Sterlings and all them, well, especially the Sterlings, they only go so far, and then you have to bomb something. So that's one of the things you want to get your low radius or the lesser range airplanes down in this area so they don't have to fly as far, because they can't fly as far. The B-17s and B-24s I think you can put up here, and they will make their range pretty easily. So if we actually find a B-17 or B-24, well, we're going to find them somewhere. Now look, if you put the P-47, see, they can't go very far. That's as far as they go. The closest one to Germany goes only this far. And I mean, you can see the coast right there. So then if we go, let's try a Spitfire 9. They go a little bit further, as you can see. They go all the way down here to Luxembourg. That's further. It's still not probably as far as you might want them to go. Okay, let's B-17 Fortresses. Well, how far can they go? That's how far they can go. Look at that. They're all the way into Poland. What's modern-day Poland? That's Krakow, wherever the city of Krakow is. But this is the land division called Krakow. There's Galicia. There's Upper Silesia. So I mean, the B-17s can go pretty far, and then the B-24s, the B-24 Liberators, can go even further. So as you can see, that's their advantage. We can bomb just about anything in Germany with the B-17s and the B-24s. But the thing about it is, you have to worry about is their escorts can't go that far. So do you want to put your... What the hell was that? Somebody just made a weird noise outside. I wonder if they hear me talking. or maybe they're talking to their dog for all I know. But anyway, do you want to put 150 or 200 B-24s over the target and have 150 or 200 Focke-Wulf 190s attacking them, and they have no fighter air cover? All the fighters can't make it that far. So that's something you have to worry about when you're bombing. Um, that's I'm gonna call it an episode here. I hope I've done a good job of showing you some of the things that you need to do to get your air war to the point where you can start planning attacks with your air groups. And next time I'm sure we will get to the actual building of air missions, and then also to the ground war. So have a good night. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time.